A dying starship, a stranger's signal. Jared Carter sat alone in the control room of Orbital Station 9, high above Earth. He had been there for almost 2 years. No friends, no family, just machines, silence, and empty stars. He was an engineer, a smart one, but not important enough to be on the main stations. So they sent him here, to fix old satellites, to listen to signals no one cared about. But tonight, something strange happened. A sharp beep echoed through the quiet room. Jared sat up straight. The signal was not from Earth. It was coming from deep space, far beyond the moon. He quickly typed on his keyboard, checking the source. The signal was weak, almost broken. It sounded like someone crying for help. Could be a lost probe, he whispered. But something inside him said no. This felt different. He adjusted the satellite dish. The signal grew stronger. A few seconds later, his screen showed it. A massive ship, floating slowly toward Earth. It was damaged, burned. Pieces of it were missing. It looked like it had survived a war. Jared's heart raced. Okay, that's not human tech. The ship wasn't on any Earth registry. No known shape. No response to hails. He grabbed his toolkit and rushed to the station's small dock. His hand shook as he opened the hatch of his personal shuttle. The alien ship was close, less than 10 minutes away. Guess I'm going out, he muttered, and launched the shuttle. As Jared approached the alien vessel, he saw the damage up close. Huge holes in the hull. Burn marks. Frozen gas leaking from the sides. Something terrible had happened here. He attached his shuttle to a broken docking port and stepped inside, flashlight in hand. "Hello," he called out. Silence. The air was thin. Lights flickered. The ship groaned like it was alive, and in pain. He moved carefully, floating through the dark corridors. Strange symbols covered the walls. Nothing looked familiar. Then he heard it. A low cough. Then a whisper. Jared turned the corner and saw her. She lay slumped against the wall, her body wrapped in black and silver armor. Her helmet was cracked. Glowing purple blood dripped from her side. Her hand twitched weakly. She looked barely alive. Jared knelt beside her. "Hey, can you hear me?" Her eyes fluttered open. They were bright gold. Not human. Not even clothes. She tried to speak, but only a soft hiss came out. Her breathing was shallow. He checked her armor. It was powered, some kind of life support system, but it was damaged. Badly. "I can fix this," he said, more to himself than her. He pulled out his tools and got to work. Time passed. Jared worked fast, fixing wires, sealing cracks, connecting power lines. He didn't understand the alien tech, but he was good at figuring things out. He had done it all his life. On Earth, in school, and now in space. The woman's breathing slowly improved. Her suit lights turned green. She opened her eyes again, this time clearer. Her hand moved toward her side, but not to thank him. In a flash, she pulled a small blade from her belt and held it to Jared's neck. He froze. "Wait, I'm helping you," he said quickly. Her voice was cold, sharp, full of hate. "Where am I?" "You're near Earth. I found your ship. You were dying. I just wanted to help." She stared at him. Her golden eyes narrowed. "You are human." Jared nodded slowly. "Yes. Name's Jared. And you are?" She didn't answer. Her hand trembled, still holding the blade. "I don't know who you are," Jared continued, "but someone tried to kill you. Your ship is wrecked. If I hadn't found you." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. She slowly lowered the blade. "Why?" she asked. "Why what? Why help me?" Jared gave a small smile. "Because you needed it." She looked away, as if thinking. Then she stood up, weak but proud. Her armor clicked and hissed as it adjusted. She moved with grace, like a trained warrior. Jared could see it now. She wasn't just any alien. She was someone important. Just then, a red light blinked on Jared's wristpad. A warning. Another ship was approaching. Fast. He checked the signal. Not human. And it wasn't friendly. The woman saw the alert too. Her face turned hard. They found me. Who? Jared asked. She turned to him, eyes blazing. My enemies. The queen who hated humans. Silara stood in the dark corridor of her broken ship, her tall figure lit only by the faint glow of emergency lights. Her golden eyes scanned Jared, the human who had repaired her suit and saved her life. She had not asked for help, and she hated that she had needed it. Jared watched her carefully, keeping a few steps back. His instincts told him she could kill him in seconds. The way she held herself, the way her armor moved with her, it was like watching a living weapon. But she was wounded, exhausted, and, more than anything, alone. My name is Jared Carter, he said again, trying to keep his voice calm. I'm just an engineer from Earth. I live on a space station nearby. I picked up your signal. Silara said nothing. Your ship, he continued, it's heavily damaged. I don't know who attacked you, but... Silence. Her voice was sharp like a blade. Jared stopped speaking immediately. I do not need your words, she said. I need answers. She stepped closer. Jared stood his ground. Is this planet Earth? She asked. He nodded. Yes. You're just outside its orbit. She looked around, disgusted. This is the edge of the galaxy, she muttered. The farthest corner of the stars. I never thought I would end up here, among your kind. Jared blinked. My kind. She turned toward him, her eyes full of cold fire. Humans. Jared didn't know what to say. He wasn't sure what he had done to offend her, but clearly she didn't like him. Or any human. Look, he said after a pause, you're injured, your ship's a wreck, and someone's coming after you. You may hate me, but you don't have many options. Silara clenched her jaw. Her breathing was shallow. Jared could see the pain behind her eyes, though she hid it well. I didn't ask for your help, she said. No, Jared replied, but you still needed it. That made her pause. Back on Jared's shuttle, he helped her into a medical chair. She fought him at first, snapping at his every move, but he stayed calm, gentle. Slowly, she allowed him to scan her wounds. Her armor was ancient, full of alien tech. He couldn't understand most of it, but his tools picked up serious internal damage. Cracked ribs, internal bleeding, strange energy burns. You should rest, Jared said. I do not rest, she snapped. You're not going to heal if you keep acting like a soldier. I am a soldier. That stopped him. Jared looked at her again, really looked. There was something regal in her posture, something noble behind her anger. She wasn't just a fighter. She was a leader. Your enemies, Jared said carefully. Who are they? Silara looked away. For a long time, she didn't speak. When she finally did, her voice was softer, though still sharp. Traitors, assassins, men who once swore to protect me. Now they want my throne. Throne? Jared echoed. Silara looked him in the eye. I am Queen Silara of the Zirani Empire, or I was. Jared's mouth fell open slightly. A queen. I was betrayed, she continued. Ambushed during a peace meeting. My fleet was destroyed. I barely escaped. She touched the cracked edge of her armor. This was not just a war. It was a message. They wanted to erase me. Erase my name. Jared sat back, absorbing it all. And now they've followed you here. Yes, she said. They will burn this planet to dust if they think I'm hiding on it. Jared swallowed hard. Earth had no defense against such technology. If the people chasing her arrived, millions could die. That night, Silara remained cold and distant. Jared offered food. She refused. He asked questions. She ignored them. She stood alone in the observation window, staring at the earth below. "What are you thinking?" Jared asked softly. She didn't answer right away. Then, with a voice full of quiet rage, she said, "I once believed humans were nothing more than weak creatures, small minds. No honor, no purpose. My people see Earth as a primitive world, not worth a second thought." She turned to face him. "And yet, one of you saved my life." Jared didn't know how to respond. "You're not what I expected," she said, then added with bitterness, "That makes it harder." "Why?" he asked. "Because if I start to trust you," she whispered, "I might start to hope again. And hope is dangerous." Before Jared could reply, an alarm blared across the shuttle. He rushed to the console. "They found us," he said. "Another ship is approaching." Silara moved quickly to his side. She looked at the screen. Her eyes went wide. "That's one of them." "What do we do?" She reached for her blade, her body still aching. "We fight. But listen to me, human," she said. "I will not die on this rock. I will not fall without a blade in my hand." "Okay," Jared said, breathing fast. "But if we're going to survive this, we'll have to fight together." Silara looked at him. For the first time, she gave a small nod. "Then stay close. And try not to die." The secret of the Queen. The enemy ship loomed in the distance, sleek, black, and fast. It carried no lights, no signals, no warnings. But Silara knew what it was. A hunter-class interceptor, Zireni-made, silent and deadly. Jared stood beside her at the shuttle's window, his palms sweating. "We have nothing to fight that with." Silara didn't respond. Her jaw was tight, her fists clenched. "They've come to finish what they started," she said. Jared looked around. "We have basic weapons, a welding torch, a half-dead alien ship. That's it." Silara finally turned to him. "And me." They rushed back into the broken alien vessel. Silara's ship. Jared floated behind her in the dark corridors, still lit only by flickering lights. She moved slower now, but still with purpose, like a lioness wounded but proud. "I need to reach the core chamber," she said. "There may be something left to use." Jared followed her through twisted metal and collapsed walls until they reached a sealed door, half melted. Silara placed her hand on a glowing pad. The door groaned and opened. Inside was a large circular room, glowing with purple lights and golden symbols. A high-tech throne stood in the center, more machine than seat. "What is this place?" Jared asked. Silara stepped forward. Her voice was distant, almost gentle. "This is the heart of the sovereign." She removed part of her armor, revealing a mark on her chest. A glowing crest, the royal seal of the Zireni. Jared stared. "You're not just a queen," he whispered. "You're the queen." Silara looked over her shoulder. "I was the first daughter of House Vale, chosen by the High Council to lead the Zireni Empire into a new age of peace. I believed in unity, in change." She turned fully, her voice shaking just a little. "But my own blood betrayed me. My generals called me weak. My advisors called me foolish. They allied with the warlords, those who profit from chaos." Jared listened in stunned silence. "They staged a coup during peace talks, killed my guards, poisoned my allies. I escaped with this ship, but not without a cost." She touched the deep scar along her side. Her fingers trembled for just a second. "And now they chase me across the stars to erase my legacy." Jared took a slow step forward. "You should have told me." "Why?" She snapped. "So you could run. So you could bow." "No," Jared said. "So I could understand." Silara looked away. Jared walked to the center of the room. The throne pulsed with faint power. "What does this do?" he asked. Silara approached. "It's not just a chair. It's a command core. When connected to a fleet, I can control royal ships, Activate protocols. Speak to the Empire. But your fleet's gone, Jared said. Silara gave a tired nod. I'm a queen with no crown, no army, and no time. Suddenly, the ship shook. The enemy vessel had begun firing. They're not trying to destroy us, Silara muttered. They're trying to force us out. Jared's eyes lit up. Then that's our chance. He ran back toward the shuttle. Come on. Silara followed, wincing with each step. In the shuttle, Jared powered up the systems. I've got a plan. It's insane, but we don't have many options. Silara gave a weak smile. Good. I'm used to insanity. He showed her a rough map. If we boost around the dark side of Earth, we can use its gravity to slingshot past the hunter ship. It'll buy us time. Time for what? To fix your ship, or call for help, or something. Silara studied him for a long moment. You're not like the humans I was taught to hate. Jared chuckled. I've never been good at following rules. The escape was wild. Jared flew low over Earth's orbit, dodging debris, satellites, and space junk. The hunter ship followed, firing, but missing. Silara activated a pulse from her suit, jamming its sensors for just a moment. It was enough. They disappeared behind the moon, into deep shadow. The hunter lost them. For now. Hours later, back on the station, Silara sat quietly while Jared repaired a power module from her ship. Why do you keep helping me? She asked suddenly. Jared didn't look up. Because you're not a monster. She was silent. You care. I see it, even if you hide it behind all that armor. Still no response. And you're alone, Jared added. I know how that feels. Silara lowered her gaze. I don't trust easily, she admitted. But I want to believe in someone again. Jared gave her a small smile. Then start with me. Just then, a blinking light flashed on Silara's wrist. A message, encrypted. She opened it. Her eyes widened. What is it? Jared asked. Silara stood up, her face pale. My people, she whispered. They're still alive. A few loyalists. They're hiding on a moon near the warfront. They're calling for me. That's good, right? Silara's voice was shaky. It means they believe I can still lead them. That I can still be queen. She turned to Jared. But I can't do it alone. Jared nodded. Then let's save your people. A human plan to save an alien empire. The small control room aboard Jared's space station hummed softly as screens flickered with incoming data. Silara stood still, staring at the glowing message from her people, the few survivors loyal to her still alive on a distant moon, surrounded by enemy fleets. For the first time since she arrived near Earth, her hard exterior cracked. Her eyes were wide, her voice low and uncertain. They're alive. I thought they were gone. All of them. Jared watched her. And now they're calling for you. Silara clenched her fists. But I have nothing to give. No army. No weapons. No fleet. My empire is gone. Jared leaned against the console and crossed his arms. Maybe your empire is broken, but you're not. She gave him a tired look. He continued, You still have me, and we're not out of options. Silara didn't understand. What could you possibly do, human? You have no warships, no soldiers. I have something better, Jared replied with a crooked smile. A brain and junk. She raised a brow. Junk. Jared turned toward the window, pointing to the thousands of old satellites floating in Earth's orbit. You see that? That's a graveyard of forgotten tech. Half of it's still working. Most of it's connected to power grids, comm relays, orbital scanners, and I've spent 2 years figuring out how to talk to all of them. Silara crossed her arms, slowly beginning to understand. You plan to turn trash into weapons. More like tools, Jared said. I can create decoys, jamming fields, signal loops, even fake fleet signatures. We can make them think you've already rebuilt your forces. Solara gave a quiet, impressed hum. Deception. Clever. Jared grinned. We humans aren't the strongest, but we've survived a lot, because we adapt. Over the next few days, the station transformed. Jared worked non-stop, soldering wires, rewriting ancient software, linking outdated satellites together into a web of light and noise. He scavenged broken drones, old thrusters, solar panels, and deep space beacons. Solara watched him, often in silence, her body still healing, but her mind slowly waking up again, focused, sharp. He taught her basic Earth tech. She taught him alien command codes, Zerani battle strategy, and how to speak with authority. She no longer spoke down to him. She spoke with him. Their strange alliance was becoming something deeper. Trust. Late one night, as Jared connected a power cell, he noticed Solara sitting by the observation window, staring at the stars. He walked over quietly. "You okay?" She didn't look at him. "Do you think it's possible to lead again, after failing once?" He sat beside her. "I think real leaders fail, but they don't run from it. They use it." Solara nodded slowly. "You remind me of someone, my brother. He believed in peace, in change. He died because of it. I'm sorry." She finally turned to him. "You make me want to believe again, and that scares me." Jared gave a small smile. Sometimes the scariest thing is hope. On the fourth day, the plan was ready. Jared stood at the center of the command room, showing Solara a holographic map. "We'll send false fleet signals from 5 directions using satellite clusters. I've programmed decoys to simulate capital ship engines. At the same time, we'll broadcast your royal command code on an ancient war frequency." Solara raised a brow. "They'll think I've returned with a hidden fleet." "Exactly. And when they come looking for a fight, we lead them away from your people. Buy time." Solara studied the plan carefully. "You're risking Earth's orbit," she said. "If this fails." Jared nodded. "Then we fail together." The launch began at sunrise. Hundreds of satellites lit up across the sky like blinking stars. The false signals were sent out, massive energy bursts mimicking fleet movements. Holographic decoys flickered to life, appearing as ghostly battleships floating in space. Enemy scouts picked it up within minutes. They panicked. Solara stood tall in the command center, her armor repaired, her royal seal glowing brightly on her chest. She pressed her wrist console and activated the broadcast. "This is Queen Solara of the Zerani Empire. To those who betrayed me, you have failed. I have returned. I command you to stand down, or face the full might of my wrath." Her voice echoed across deep space. Jared stared at her, amazed. She wasn't just surviving now, she was rising. But the enemy didn't retreat. They sent more ships. Faster ones. Deadlier ones. Solara looked at Jared. "They know. They're coming. We planned for that." Jared activated the final piece of the strategy, a pulse jamming system made from old radio towers and a nuclear battery. As the enemy fleet closed in, their sensors went dark. They fired blindly. Missed. One of the decoys exploded, on purpose. It released a cloud of magnetic dust, disabling 2 real ships by accident. The chaos worked. Solara's loyalists escaped from their hidden moon. She received the message. "We're safe. Thank you, my queen." Jared sighed with relief. "We did it." Solara stared at the screen. "No, you did." He turned to her. "We did this together." She stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder. "I was wrong about humans," she said quietly. "You don't just survive. You inspire." Jared smiled. "So what now?" Solara looked toward the stars. "Now, we rebuild. And if you'll stay by my side, Jared Carter, we start a new chapter." He nodded. "I'm in." But far away, on a dark planet, a figure watched the chaos through a glowing screen. The rebel commander's eyes narrowed. "She lives," he growled. "And now she has a human." He stood slowly. "Then I will crush them both." The battle begins. The stars burned brighter than ever in the silence before war. Jared stood in the middle of Orbital Station 9, now turned into a command hub. Old wires snaked across the floor. Screens flickered with energy spikes. Hundreds of satellites floated in Earth's orbit, reprogrammed to act as decoys, jammers, and traps. Queen Silara stood at the helm, her royal armor repaired, her golden eyes locked on the data streams. The woman who once hated humans now stood ready to protect them. But the silence was short. A warning alarm blared. Incoming fleet, 10 ships. Class, Interceptor. Speed, maximum. Jared swallowed hard. "They're here." Silara's expression was calm, but her voice was steel. "They sent hunters first, to test us." Jared looked at her. "Do we fight?" "We stand. We do not run." He nodded. "Then let's give them something they'll never forget." The first wave hit hard. The hunter ships moved fast, weaving through Earth's orbit like shadows. They didn't fire immediately. They scanned, searched, looking for the real queen among the ghost signals. Jared activated the first net. Old satellites powered up and fired low-frequency pulses. The ships were blinded for just a moment, but it was enough. Silara launched small drones Jared had rebuilt from broken probes. They moved like insects, fast and confusing. They swarmed 2 interceptors and detonated on contact. The enemy screamed through the comms, caught off guard. The queen had teeth. Inside the command room, sparks flew. The station shook. One of the hunter ships fired blindly and struck a nearby drone relay. Jared winced. "That's one of our main jammers. Gone." Silara didn't blink. "Then we adapt." She grabbed the controls and sent a new signal to a hidden array on the dark side of the moon. It pulsed a fake fleet image, 15 ships in perfect formation. The enemy paused, confused. It bought them minutes. But then a new signal arrived. Stronger, colder, darker. The main screen changed. A large triangular ship entered orbit, black as space itself. It was twice the size of the others. Jared stared. "That's not a hunter." Silara's face grew pale. "No, that is the rebel commander." The ship broadcast a message. "Queen Silara, human, I see you. Your tricks are clever, but this ends now. You will not escape again." The voice was deep, mechanical, inhuman. Silara's hand clenched the arm of her chair. Jared leaned closer. "We've come this far. We can't stop now." She turned to him slowly. "If he's here, everything changes. That ship is a war factory. It creates drones during battle. It doesn't need a fleet. It is the fleet." Jared's heart pounded. "Then we hit it first." They launched Phase 2. Jared rerouted power from the station's reactor to charge an old mining laser, something never meant for war. With Silara's tech added, it became a powerful pulse cannon. They targeted the war factory's energy core. Silara gave the command, "Fire." The beam hit dead center. The enemy ship staggered, but didn't fall. Instead, it opened. Thousands of smaller drones poured out like a cloud of death. Black, buzzing, and fast. "Jared, we need shields. Now." He triggered an energy barrier built from linked solar panels and shield generators. It held for a few seconds. The drones hit hard. The station shook violently. A fire broke out in one corridor. Silara looked to Jared. "Get to the core, manually. Reroute power. I'll hold the line." He hesitated. "You can't take them alone." She gave him a small smile. "You believed in me when I couldn't. Now let me believe in you." Jared ran through the corridor, smoke and sparks everywhere. He reached the reactor core. Wires had melted. Systems were dying. He had to bypass it all manually, risking an overload. Meanwhile, outside, Solara stood at the front of the defense ring, controlling the drones they had salvaged, redirecting energy blasts with her armor, leading Earth's satellites like a conductor with a deadly orchestra. The enemy was powerful, but she was relentless. Suddenly, Jared's screen lit up. EMP wave detected. Power failing. No, 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 come on, he shouted. He grabbed an old emergency converter, hotwired it, and shoved it into the core. A massive surge of light exploded from the station. The decoys powered up one last time, creating the illusion of a collapsing singularity. The war factory's eye hesitated. That moment saved them. Solara launched everything they had left. Every last drone, every last signal pulse, even parts of the station. The enemy ship faltered. Its energy flickered. And then, it turned away. Back in the control room, Jared limped in, smoke on his clothes, a burn across his arm. Solara rushed to him. "You did it," she said quietly. "You turned the tide." He looked up at her, barely standing. "We bought time. That's all. They'll be back." She nodded. "Yes. But next time, we'll be ready." Jared smiled. Together. Solara reached out and took his hand. Together. But on the enemy ship, the rebel commander stared at the damage. He growled. "That human has become a problem." His second-in-command stepped forward. "Shall we prepare the final weapon?" The commander nodded slowly. "Let's see how brave this human is when we erase Earth itself. The truth that changes everything." The station floated in silence, its hull still glowing from the battle's heat. Inside, lights flickered. Walls were scorched. Systems were failing. But they were alive. Jared lay on a repair bench in the engineering bay, his arm bandaged, burns treated. Queen Solara stood beside him, studying a holographic projection of the enemy fleet's retreat path. She looked stronger now, more like the queen she once was. But something in her eyes had changed too. Something gentler. "You saved us," she said softly. Jared gave a tired grin. It was a team effort. She looked down at him. "You risked your life. You almost died rerouting that core." Jared sat up slowly. "Well, someone had to keep your empire alive. Besides, you'd do the same for me." Solara didn't answer, because deep down, she wasn't sure she would have. Not before. Now, maybe. Later, while repairing one of the broken satellite relays, Jared found something strange in the data logs. He sat at his desk, studying it line by line, his brow furrowed. The encryption was familiar, too familiar. He ran a deeper scan. The power signatures matched something from 6 months ago, an emergency repair job he had done on a damaged probe drifting near Mars. At the time, he thought it was a derelict drone. But it wasn't. It was Zerani tech, and he had unknowingly repaired and rebooted one of the rebel commander's primary relay beacons. Jared leaned back in horror. No, this can't be right. He had activated a beacon that helped the enemy track Solara's escape route. He had led them straight to her. That evening, Jared found Solara in the observation deck. She stood alone, arms crossed, watching Earth's blue curve in silence. He approached slowly. "There's something you need to know," he said. She turned. He told her everything. About the Mars relay. About the power signature. About how he unknowingly helped the rebels. Solara didn't speak for a long time. Then she turned her back. "So," she said coldly, "this was all your fault." Jared flinched. "I didn't know. You brought them here. I was trying to help. I thought it was a lost drone. You nearly killed me. My people. My empire." Her voice was shaking now, not with rage, but with heartbreak. "You were supposed to be different," she whispered. "You were the one thing I trusted." "I still am," Jared said quietly. "I didn't betray you. I was just human." She stared at him for a long time. Then she walked away. Hours passed. Jared sat alone in the repair bay, staring at the burned wires. He had never felt this broken. The stars outside felt colder. Had he ruined everything? Silara sat in the communication chamber. The message from her loyalists replayed again and again. Your people need you. Your courage gives us hope. She closed her eyes. She remembered Jared risking his life to restore power, fighting beside her, protecting her, and she remembered how broken his voice sounded when he said, I didn't betray you. I was just human. She returned to the bay. Jared didn't look up. I understand if you want me gone, he muttered. Silara stood in front of him, silent for a moment. Then softly, You made a mistake. He nodded. Yeah, you were reckless. I know. You almost destroyed everything. I know. She stepped closer. But you never stopped trying to fix it. Jared finally looked up. Silara sat beside him. In my world, she said, mistakes like that mean death, shame, exile. But maybe that's why we lost our way. She took a deep breath. Because we forgot how to forgive. Jared said nothing. Silara touched his arm gently. You gave me something no one else did, Jared. Not soldiers, not politicians. You gave me hope. I will not throw that away. Just then, an alert rang. Incoming message. Encrypted. Silara opened it. Her eyes widened. The rebel commander. He's coming for Earth. Jared stood up. How soon? Less than 2 days. He's bringing the final weapon. Final weapon. Silara projected the file. A massive energy core. Planet cracker tech. Illegal under every galactic treaty. It's designed to wipe a planet's surface in one blast, she said. He plans to destroy Earth, just to kill me. Jared felt the blood drain from his face. Can we stop it? Silara stared at the map, thinking. Then she looked at him. Only one way. We go to his ship. We end this ourselves. Jared raised an eyebrow. A two-person strike against a flying fortress. Silara smiled, fire in her eyes again. Like you said, humans adapt. Far away, aboard the rebel flagship, the commander stood on the bridge. The final weapon pulsed in the core of the ship, glowing red. His second-in-command approached. The Earth outpost detected our signal. They know we're coming. The commander didn't flinch. Let them watch, he growled. Let them scream. He walked to the edge of the command deck. This time, the queen dies with her precious human. A human saves a queen. And an empire. The stars around Earth trembled as the rebel commander's warship appeared. Like a black eclipse blotting out the heavens. It was no longer just a ship. It was a monster. Half machine, half weapon. It carried the planet killer. A weapon pulsing red with the power to wipe an entire world in seconds. Inside Orbital Station 9, Jared Carter stood at the central console, his jaw tight, hands shaking slightly. Across from him, Queen Silara checked the final coordinates. Her royal armor shimmered under the station lights. Repaired, reforged, and reawakened. No longer a queen in hiding. A queen ready to rise. They're locking onto Earth's orbit, Jared said. If that weapon fires, millions die. Silara looked him in the eye. Then we make sure it doesn't fire. The plan was madness. Silara and Jared would board the enemy ship using an abandoned cargo vessel, a broken freighter Jared had converted into a stealth shuttle. Its hull was patched with Earth steel and Zerani shielding. Inside, it carried the last of their drones, and a stolen Zerani core bomb. The goal was simple: get aboard, destroy the weapon from inside. Jared strapped into the pilot's seat. You know we probably won't make it back, right? Silara strapped in beside him. If this is how I die, then I'll die fighting beside the one person who made me believe again. Jared smirked. No pressure. They launched under the cover of Earth's shadow. The freighter drifted like space junk, slow, silent, forgotten. It worked. The enemy didn't see them coming. They slipped through a docking hatch in the lower decks of the rebel warship, landing without alarms, but they didn't have long. Inside, the corridors were cold and dark. Machines hummed. Drones floated like ghosts, scanning, watching. Silara moved like a shadow, silent and swift. Jared followed, carrying the pulse core on his back. Every step was heavier than the last. They reached the heart of the ship. The planet killer was massive, like a beating heart made of fire and metal. Its core spun in a slow, deadly rhythm. Silara began setting the charges. But then, the lights changed, and the commander arrived. He stood across the chamber, towering in his black armor. His face was hidden behind a cold metal mask, voice deep and mechanical. "I let you live once, Silara," he growled. "You should have stayed dead." Jared stepped forward. "You talk too much." The commander tilted his head. "And you are the little human who thinks he matters." He raised his hand. A blast of dark energy surged toward them. Silara pushed Jared aside and blocked the hit with her shield. It cracked, but held. Jared scrambled to the core, fingers racing over the bomb interface. 30 seconds to overload. Silara fought the commander, blade against blade, fire against shadow. She was fast, but he was ruthless. He struck her hard, knocking her into the wall. Her armor sparked. "Your empire is dead," he snarled. "Your people have no future." Silara spit blood. "Then I'll make sure you don't have one either." She lunged, driving her blade into his shoulder. Jared activated the core. 10 seconds. The reactor room shook as the weapon began to destabilize. The commander roared and struck Silara down. He turned to Jared. "You'll die with her." Jared looked up. "Maybe. But I'll die human, and you'll die forgotten." He pressed the final trigger. Boom. The core detonated, not in fire, but in light. A massive pulse of energy surged through the warship, melting the weapons systems, frying every drone, shutting down power across the ship. The explosion threw Jared backward. Silara pulled him into cover just in time. The commander staggered, then fell. Dead. They didn't wait. Silara dragged Jared back toward the shuttle. Fires raged. Systems collapsed. Alarms screamed. Their ship was half destroyed, but still alive. They launched just as the warship began to break apart behind them, drifting toward a slow, fiery death. Back on Earth's orbit, the world watched. The warship cracked in half. And then, it was gone. Inside the shuttle, Jared coughed, blood on his lips. His body was broken. He had burns, internal injuries. Everything hurt. Silara cradled him, her voice trembling. "Stay with me." He smiled faintly. "Did we win?" She nodded, tears in her golden eyes. "Yes." "Then that's enough," he whispered. His eyes closed. But he didn't die. 3 days later, Jared awoke in a Zirani healing chamber aboard a loyalist cruiser. Silara sat beside him, holding his hand. "You came back," he whispered. "I never left," she said. Weeks passed. The rebellion crumbled after the commander's death. Silara's people rose again, rallying behind their queen. And the story of the human who saved her. She stood before the council, armor shining, voice strong. "You called humans weak, but one of them saved me. He saved all of you. From this day forward, Earth is under the protection of the Zirani Empire." Jared stood beside her, now healed, in a custom Zirani coat. He blinked. "Wait, did I just become galactic royalty?" Silara smiled. "Something like that." And so, a human engineer who lived alone in a forgotten station became a legend. Not because he was the strongest, not because he had power, but because he had heart.